Hello everyone, Loserkiller here, and welcome to the 5th video of my Abyss MOC series. Today, 2 MOCs in one because we're going to talk about a biker gun, so we will have a bike obviously and its pilot. So let's start with the motorcycle first, which looks like that. So as you can see, I took inspiration from real-life motorcycles, so really to know what I was doing in terms of shape and all the different parts were attached together. And so you have this, well, you have the result in front of your eyes. So let's start first maybe with the frame. So let me just adjust the light and the camera, and I think it's okay like that, yeah. So yes, first the frame, which is right there, as you can see. So it's kind of like divided in 2 parts. So this part, which will be useful to add the oil tank, as you can see, this little part down there, and this part for the motor that we will see in details later on. As you can see, when we are on the frame, we can you can notice the seat. So I used a Bawaki part because of its color, kind of like red brownish, which kind of remind me of the color of a traditional seat, and also because of its wounded shape, excuse me. And then you have those 2 parts which will be useful to add our gas tank. And once again, I choose this part because it looks just like a gas tank. So yes, it was really it was just a perfect fit for the job, I think. So it looks also quite good, and obviously in silver color, it's even better looking. As you can see, the rear wheel is linked, well, with some parts like that. I have to admit it's not really the strongest build ever, because you can see if I move this part just like that, it kind of breaks off. So you have to be really careful when you kind of put like your character on it, or when you try to push it. So yeah, not the best, but it was still could be a little better, but I had really a hard time to come with a way to add the rear wheel at the end of my frame. So yes, that's the result I had. Still, it can, as you can see, the wheels can roll without any problems, like that. Also, notice the rear fender. So I use this part because once again it was quite a perfect fit, because as you can see, it's really in a rounded shape. It's really kind of like curved. So I thought it was really just the perfect part for the job. I think it looks quite nice, except maybe for the really organic part, the organic feeling of this piece. For example, like the little tentacles at the end, which, yeah, might look a little strange for rear fender, but still, I think it looks quite great. Plus, it's the same color as the seat, so the 2 mesh nicely together. That said, I think we are nearly done. Just notice all the hose pipes, or the exhaust pipes, are linked on the back, with this little part right here, like that. And also, this part will be useful to put the fit on the of the character here. So that said, let's move on to the motor, which is the main part of the motorcycle. Because well, without a motor, it's just a regular bike, I guess. So yeah, once again, I choose a part which adds the perfect shape for me, well, which adds the shape which looked like a motor the most, and was the best, excuse me, and it was this part. So it's torso armor from the Toa Enika sets, released in 2006 in the Bionicle Sim. And as you can see, well, it's a V-shaped, so it looks just like a motor once again, I think. And so with that in mind, we're going to attach this part on this pin, like that. Then we're going to add this element. So, well, it will add a second type of second connection for the motor, and between the 2 also part of the motor. Then we're going to add this part to add some details to our motor, to our engine, excuse me, like that. And as you can see, the axles are put in a specific way because they will be used later on to attach the pipes on either sides. So we are going to attach that thanks to the hose pipes, and I think it's yes. No, as you can see, it fits perfectly. It fits perfectly. Excuse me. And now we have like 4 axles. Well, yes, we have 4 points of connection to attach the final part of our engine, which looks like that. And finally, we're going to add this hose pipe on this side, and the other one right here. So I don't know if you can see it clearly, but like that and like that. And as you can see, it's done. Well, nearly done. We just add this part at the end with some spikes because, well, obviously it's a biker gang, so they are not, well, in this case, they are not really people with good intentions. And as for the rest of the bike, well, we have the fork right here, so you can see, with the handlebar right there. And obviously you have the front wheel, and at the front I put some decoration, so with a head and some horn, so kind of look like animal skull which was put on the front of the motorcycle. And I think it looks nice, and also it's follow quite nicely the shape of the motorcycle itself. And I think we are just done with the motorcycle. In fact, I showed you everything, so I hope you were able to well, see everything clearly and understand everything I said clearly, because I have to admit that I was not really my best performance ever in terms of English speaking right there. So yes, hopefully you still understood what was going on, and if not, I remind you that you have some the comment section to ask me questions about the creation and and things you did not understand clearly when I talked about them. And I will happy ready to answer them. Still, here's a turnaround of our bike, and obviously the bike can roll without any big problem, as you can see, and it can turn also, so no big problems. So it works just as intended. But as you can see, sometimes it just fall off on one side. It's quite a problem, and I did not build a stand for the bike. So yeah, it's also a problem. Also notice one thing that I did not talk about. It's the robo wider disc, which are used to fill the empty space of the wheel. Okay, so let's move to Saïm, which is our pilot. So it's really simple how it's made, and once again, it's a body frame that I took from another MOC which was created by Snapdragon in 2009. It was called Waku, and so yeah, I just took the frame. Why? Because as you will see, it's a very simple body frame. So this meant that I could build the pilot quickly, because like I said, Abyss was made in like a time frame of 1 to 2 weeks, so obviously my time was really limited. I had to manage it the best I could, and so this means that for this creation, for this gang, obviously I put most of my focus and my time behind the construction, the building of the bike itself, because that's the main gimmick of the gang. So that means that the pilot was kind of like coming in second place in terms of focus and time spent on him. So that's why I chose a simple body frame. And as you can see, well, we're going to use this already made body frame, which is taken from the Matawan released in 2008 in the Bionicle Sim. And as you can see, we're going to use long legs and long arms. And that's really all there is to say about this frame. Once again, I remind you that I put in the video description multiple links. So the first link is the gallery to the character and the bike. So if you want to see more pictures of either of them, you can, because they are more clear picture, because most of the time my video sometimes is not really the best way to see all the details. Also, you have another link to see how Waku was made, so the original MOC which used the body frame, so you can compare the two, what I took inspiration from and what I changed. And I think that's all for the links. There is also a link for the instruction, but it's not online at the time I'm talking. So yeah, at the time as I am recording the video. Still, let's move on with the legs. As you can see, the legs are quite simple to understand. A double-sided connector, and while the foot, excuse me. Only problem is that I use this part, as you can see, a Technic beam and a Toametru chest armor to do some type of armor right there. Yes, only problem, it's block the articulation completely. So it's really a waste. But we'll see that later on when we talk about the articulation. But yeah, kind of like a problem. Okay, and that's a fit. The arms now, the arms are also very simple because as you can see, I wanted to put this part on the side, but I don't really try to make it complicated, so I just put this part here and right there. So it's not perfectly symmetrical in comparison to the connector itself, but it's not really a big deal. I use some part to fill the void of the piece and some spikes on the side of the shoulder. Still, okay. And finally, the last part of Saïm, and I think it's one of the most interesting on this MOC, it's his back. So first off, we're going to link the head. So the head is not directly attached to this ball joint because I wanted to use a Toametru head. So like this one, which as you can see already has a ball joint. So what I did was put the connector and the head in between these two parts, like that, which I'm going to link to the two axles, as you can see here, like that. And this means I have 2 points of connection remaining, and those 2 points of connection are going to be really useful because I'm going to add this part. So it's a part which was released on and I do not have his name anymore, but it's an old bionicle set. Still, it looks like a shell, as you can see, and it's a perfect fit, once again, with the rest of the body. And also, I think it looks quite good because it covers the back of my character. It kind of gives him an animal look, and also it kind of give him a bent look. And it looks, well, quite similar to all bikers are on their motorcycle, especially when they pilot chopper motorcycle, which are very long motorcycle, and they really have to bend forward to reach the handles. So I thought it looked just perfectly fine for what I wanted to do and for my pilot. And here it is, done, with a little piece of armor and his head. And let me just adjust the focus of the webcam. And yes, okay, we are done. And in terms of weapon, well, his weapon is a spiked ball, if I can say so, at the end of a chain. I thought once again it worked perfectly fine, I think, for a motorcycle biker. And you can put it on the back, for example. So if you want just to put him away when he's not using it, you can do that, for example. It's simple, but quite effective. And obviously, you can put it in his hand, like that. Okay. And so that said, I think we're going to put it back on his leg, and we're going to put Saïm on his motorcycle. So let me just do that. And yes, remind just a little thing before we try to do that. Yes, before maybe, yes, the articulation, excuse me, I totally forget about that. Not really important, but still. So the articulation, as you can see, there is no big problems at all for the legs, apart from the foot, which are not good at all. The arms then, well, it blocks at 90 degrees because, well, a little more because of the black part in it. And as you can see, the shoulder seems to work fine at first, and then you try to move them on the side, and yes, the silver part blocks on the big shell part, and yes, sometimes it just it's bad. So I can move on the side and up and down. Still, you can do some pose with him. It's just that the feet are not really good, and some type of pose with the shoulders, well, not really feasible. Okay, so I'm going to put him on his back. It might take some time, so let's just bear with me for a second, please. And also, there is another problem which is going to become apparently clear. So we have to put this part, well, we have to put this pieces off first to attach his hands, excuse me. Okay. Going to put his feet on the, well, the place for him to rest his feet, so like that. I do not have the name for this part, by the way. For this part on the wheel bike. And yes, the second problem is going to come from this side of the bike, because as you can see, we have the exhaust pipes coming from the motors, and yeah, this means that the leg is going to be blocked by the exhaust pipe, so you have to kind of like move the foot like that if you want to touch this part, and it's not really the best, and it's not really good looking, you have to admit. So that's a little yes, going to really like that, so we can really put him like this way on this motorcycle. And I think we are just done here, guys and gals. Okay, so yes, okay. So here is Saïm and his motorcycle. And I'm quite happy with this mod personally. It's not really the best because it obviously had some problems, like for example, the articulations on Saïm on his feet and on his shoulders. Also, this part on the back, well, it did not break in this video, but in the French version of this video, the part on the back broke like 2 times when I tried to put him on his bike, so yeah. It's not really, it's a fragile element of my motorcycle, which I'm not really happy about. But apart from that, I'm quite happy because I really succeeded into making kind of a life-looking motorcycle, and it looks good in my opinion. I found the parts which just fit perfectly with a motorcycle. From the rear fender to the gas tank up to the motor, so yeah, the engine, excuse me. So I'm quite happy with this MOC, and I think that's quite odd because there is no real background on his gang or on his character. So yes, I can't really talk about that because I did not think about it. Well, I have no real idea apart from the fact that Saïm is not really a leader of his gang. He's more like a little henchman, not the most bright of them, but yes, he's yes, just one more henchman from the biker gang. That's all I know about this character in terms of storyline. And that's all. So yes, I talked about what I thought about my MOC. If you have any opinions or questions about it, feel free to comment in the comment section. I will happily read them and obviously answer them when it's needed. That said, we are just done with finally our 5th video. So we are halfway through our first wave of Abyss MOC series. There is still 5 MOCs remaining, and the next one is going to be simpler, if I can say so. There will be just 1 MOC this time, so no 2 MOCs in one video. And yes, we will see. It's a little, it's more a typical MOC, but still, I think you might like it because it's one of my it's one of the MOCs I like the most in this MOC series. So yeah, let's. So I hope you will see me then, and that's all. So see you next time, I hope, and see you later, and bye bye.